So every week, Republicans across this country, they are pushing laws that are seeking to limit the rights of LGBTQ plus Americans. And this week has been no different. Republicans in Kansas, North Dakota, they're signing bills that prevent transgender people from using the bathroom that matches their gender identity. And then just yesterday in Montana, the Republican governor signed a ban on medical care for trans youth, in addition to a provision that would allow kids to misgender their peers in school. All this happening as Republicans officially censure the state's first and only trans lawmaker, Zooey Zephyr, and even announced that the committees on which she serves, Judiciary and Human Services, are going to no longer be meeting for the remainder of the session, leaving Zooey to work from a bench in the hallway outside of the House chamber. But even that did not satisfy the Republican speaker, as captured by the AP. Listen to this.
My hope was to sit here and work in the common space.
No, this is public space.
Can I not work in the public space?
No, you can. Minority leader, we already talked to minority leader, so that's okay for now.
Okay, I would like to just clarify, because my understanding is I'm allowed here.
So it seems the Republican speaker did eventually back down, allowing Zephyr to remain there. But in the face of all this, Zooey got a pretty warm welcome yesterday as protesters marched in support of her. And she joins us now, Representative Zooey Zephyr of Montana. Zooey, thanks for joining us on this. You and I just spoke 7 days ago, I believe, and it was a much different situation in that you had not yet been censured. You had made that impassioned speech on the floor in front of your colleagues. And now here we are 1 week later, in which you are not even able to really enter and work inside the chamber. And instead you are at a desk outside and you've been censured. What has this been like for you?
You know, I show up every day ready to represent the constituents who sent me there. I prep, I'm ready to speak on bills. I'm ready to sort of lend my voice to the debates. But now that I've been undemocratically barred from the House chamber, I have to work really hard to make sure I catch legislators as they come in, make sure I can try to get my notes to them so that despite the circumstances, my constituents have some small semblance of representation in that chamber.
What does it feel like to not be welcomed by these people?
Yeah, I think it's indicative of the way in which the far right has sort of taken root in our state legislature. It feels like there is that continual opposition. They will use whatever procedures they have to push an extreme agenda, no matter how undemocratic, no matter how cruel. And so I don't concern myself with that cruelty, though. I try to keep my head up and just show up to work every day, ready to work for the people who elected me.
Where do you get your courage from?
Community. You know, when I ran for office, it was a place that I took the public transit through every day. It was a place that I walked through every weekend on my way to farmers markets. I know that community inside and out. I share their values. They share it with me. And so knowing I have their backing makes it really easy to stand up and do the just and moral thing.
I mentioned Montana governors. The Montana governor signed 2 anti-trans bills, and his son actually lobbied his own father not to do that. His son identifies as non-binary and identifies with he and they pronouns. And I want to read a portion of the governor's son's letter to his own father. Hey, Dad. Thanks for setting aside time to meet with me. It means a lot to me. There are a lot of important issues passing through the legislature right now. For my own sake, I've chosen to focus primarily on transgender rights, as that would significantly directly affect a number of my friends. I would like to make the argument that these bills are immoral, unjust, and frankly, a violation of human rights. How does that make you feel, hearing that letter, knowing that the governor got this letter from his own son and yet still went forward with these anti-trans bills?
You know, we talk about the way that trans care and trans right, or trans care is accepted by every major medical association, that trans rights are human rights. And one of the points we hit at is trans people live lives full of joy when we get to transition and come into ourselves fully. And our communities know that. Our communities love us. And one of the points I kept trying to make is you're never far from someone who is trans or someone who loves someone who is trans. And so for the governor to have someone that close in his family say, this is my community, and to go forward and still sign those bills, it's unconscionable.
And then there is Carrie Seekins Crow, a Republican state representative, who suggested during a floor debate, and correct me if I'm wrong, that her child, who she indicated was in fact transgender and had suicidal ideations, that she would rather allow her child to die by suicide than allow for transition. What do you make of that?
I think it shows the lack of understanding and the lack of willingness to learn and understand what it means to be trans, how important this care is, how life-saving it is to our communities. If there were any other medical condition, you would listen, you would understand and say, oh, I get what they're going through. I empathize with what they're going through. And to say something like that so blatantly cruel, it just shows the depths they're willing to go to deny people their basic human dignity.
What does being trans mean to you, Zoe?
Being trans is like coming home into myself. I feel fully in resonance with my own body, and I am able to move forward with a life that would not have been possible prior to transition. A life full of joy, a life where I can, for the first time, be myself and, have that pursuit of happiness that our country is founded on. I get that now. And that's what I hope that people understand when they look at the question of gender affirming care for trans people, for trans youth.
And you are living that life and you are changing the world all at the same time. State Representative Zooey Zephyr of Montana, we thank you again. Great to talk to you, Zoe.